Today we want to talk about the potential that Chainlink might be able to reach new all-time highs in the next bull market and where those all-time highs could be. And the main reason why I'm covering this is because a lot of you have asked me for such a video. I have to say it upfront. This is very speculative. The whole idea here is to provide some Elliott Wave education based on the structures that we see, and to give you an initial orientation of where things might take us if the price follows ideal Elliott Wave guidelines. This is the best we can do at this stage because when it comes to altcoins, there are not really any long-term trends yet. Those charts are too young. There are not really any fundamentals we can consider. So we are purely guided by price structure and by the current trend. And the problem is with Chainlink, we do not really have a trend here. As you can see, this chart is basically in a correction since 2021, more like a sideways move. This could be, for example, a wave 4 triangle pattern. Triangles are labeled A, B, C, D, E. Soon we could start the D wave bounce and then another higher low in wave E. Basically, the blue scenario just shows us how the market could spend a little bit more time simply moving sideways before breaking out at some point to new highs. Now, I have to say very clearly, there is a way to calculate potential upside targets based on the blue scenario. Because in the blue scenario, the market must not break below the red line. And that level is at $4.96. I mean, of course, it could break below, but that would invalidate the triangle. But at least with that invalidation point, I can say that there are standard projections that the price should reach in the next bull market as long as we're holding that one level. And the way to calculate these, to define these, is we take the Fibonacci extension tool, we measure the length of waves 1 to 3, and please consider that long-term this chart has only produced a 3-wave move up, so it is simply not a clear long-term trend. And then we just go by standard Elliott Wave guidance. Normally, what we consider would be screen was frozen here for a moment. Hold on, hopefully you could hear me. The screen was frozen for a moment. But no, typically what we use is the 61.8 extension, the 50% extension, and the 38.2 extension for a wave 5. However, of course, the fifth wave must break above the third wave high, and the $49.87 level, the 38.2 extension, is basically at the same high as the third wave. So while that level is likely resistance, it's probably not a target for a fifth wave. I would then look at the next two levels above, and there's even a stretch level. So we've got the 50% extension, 61.8 extension, and we're going to use the 78.6 extension as well. I'm going to go through these in a minute. But guys, the overall idea is currently we are still in a bear market in a correction. We have key support levels around $4.96. The correction is likely not over yet. And if the market moves up from here, $11.84 to $20.63 will be the next key resistance area to watch. We would need from the current price region, at the very least, a 5-wave move up to consider that a meaningful low has formed. So, and I mean, those projections to the upside, yeah, the ones that I mentioned, they are just for initial guidance. They will probably change along the way, but these are, based on what we see right now, important Fibonacci extensions, and a very important one, the 38.2 extension, obviously aligns with the all-time high. Now, $101 would be realistic in my opinion, as well as 207. That's not unrealistic, especially if we get a fifth wave to the upside, specifically because the 61.8 extension is often reached in the fifth wave. But bear in mind that this really depends on the bull's ability to defend the red line at around $5. That's very important. And so, yes, there is a first resistance area, and yes, as long as the move up is only 3 waves and we can't even break above the initial resistance, yeah, I would say we can remain in the range easily, right? That's the difficulty here because we are moving in a large triangle. Now, another more optimistic scenario is that a low could form where we are now, and that we have completed already a 1-2 setup, but that's very speculative and would require an impulsive break to the upside from here. Surely, when we're dealing with sideways structures and triangles like that, other interpretations will be relevant, but or valid, but they are not really relevant, because what really matters is to understand what the important resistances are, as well as the support levels and invalidation points. And I did mention the key level around $5, which is the swing low from 2023. Now, this is one way of calculating upside targets, and probably the one that at this stage makes most sense. But again, it's subject to change based on the microstructures that will then develop in the move to the upside. Another way is we could simply measure the length of the wave 1 in the beginning. And we say that, very often a fifth wave is at least as long as the wave 1. This would take us to $58, the 100% extension, but can easily be longer, all the way up to the 161.8 extension. Would not be a surprise. So here we also talk about 255. So it's this corridor up there, and I think the $58 level, 100% extension, is too close to the third wave high. So more realistic, probably something around $100 plus. But again, I would not really call that a target until the market actually gives us a reason to believe that a low is in. But we'll, of course, stay very close to it. But, I mean, you don't necessarily want to talk about these targets only when the market has started the move. You guys want to be prepared, right? That being said, be aware this is an altcoin, and Chainlink has not yet confirmed the continuation of the uptrend. Now, let's also take a look at what Chainlink is doing on the smaller time frame. And before we go to the smaller time frame, quick reminder, I suggest that you guys also follow us on X. It's the More Crypto Online channel. We have a lot of additional updates here, basically around the clock, from exclusive videos to additional asset classes, not just crypto, news, plus a lot of other stuff. So feel free to check it out. Just make sure that you only follow the one with the golden check mark, More Crypto Online. So I would say now, let's take a look at the shorter time frame. What we're looking at here is the 4-hour time frame on the Chainlink chart, and I think it's very clear that the move up from the June low ended as a 3-wave move. I mean, it might turn into a larger 3-wave move, as I said in the Ethereum video as well, the Solana video as well, Bitcoin video as well. They might all turn higher to form larger 3-wave movements. For now, it's entirely possible that the market is on its way into the support zone between $7.35 and $7.89. We've already touched it in August. We could easily test it again, go maybe a little bit lower, test the area around $7.35 to $7.66, which are 2 Fibonacci support levels. In the blue count, this is possible as a B-wave pullback. And if we see any impulsive upside reaction to that support area, then it would likely be the extension of that corrective rally, which we label as a B wave, that started in June. Below $7.35, probably the June lows will be tested again. Those are located around $7. And then the next key support below is around $6, and then the key level around $5. To the upside, initial resistance is $8.27 to $8.70. And if the bulls can take the price above this zone, then I think the area around $9.20 to $9.90 will come into focus. Those are larger degree Fibonacci resistance levels. For now, it seems like Chainlink is working on a sideways range, a corrective bounce, which could ultimately lead to another low. So I don't think that the overall correction on the link chart is complete. The problem is that the last decline is also in 3 waves, so we do not have confirmation of a breakdown, which again means we are likely stuck in a range. I'll of course keep you updated. For now, I would at least be prepared for another test of the micro support area. I'll keep you updated. Hope it was helpful. If you're interested in additional updates, I recommend that you check out our membership. The link is in the comment section. As a member, you can get access to our terminal, our Discord analysis feed, our chat rooms, and much more. Thanks so much. All the links are in the comments. Bye-bye. If you are enjoying these analyses and would like to take things a step further, our YouTube membership might be for you. It includes hundreds of exclusive member-only videos, additional posts, priority replies to comments, and the chance to help shape future content by suggesting charts and topics you'd like us to cover. For those who want to go even deeper, our Gold membership also unlocks access to the Discord analysis feed, the MCO terminal, and the Academy. If that sounds like something you'd enjoy, just click the join button below the video. We'd be happy to welcome you as a member.